The instructions were sent last month by the Energy Ministry to 45 companies in Russia's energy and utilities sector, including Rosneft, Lukoil and Novatek, according to a second document, a list of recipients. The drive coincides with the run-up to a presidential election in March next year, when President Vladimir Putin needs a strong mandate with high turnout to maintain his firm grip on power after dominating Russian politics for 2 decades. That document, which did not mention the election, said the news items to be supplied were to feed a positive news wire and should correspond to 2 themes: life is getting better and how things were, how they are now. Both documents were attached to an invitation, dated October 9, sent by the Energy Ministry to senior executives in the public relations and government relations departments of the firms, of which 17 are state-controlled and 28 privately held. The invitation requested they send representatives to an October 12 meeting at the ministry in Moscow to discuss how to help the government's PR effort. A spokesman for Kiriyenko did not respond to a request for comment. The Energy Ministry also did not respond, nor did Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov. 9-point list. The October 12 meeting was chaired by Deputy Energy Minister Anton Inyutsin, and an official from the presidential administration was also present, according to one of the sources who attended. The 2 officials went through and explained the instructions laid out in the 7-page document, said the source, who added that the election was not mentioned. The meeting last month and the guidelines circulated in preparation for it show that, since then, the initiative has stepped up into a higher gear, with companies being handed highly specific instructions on how they are expected to help. It was not clear if the companies had acted on the instructions. The news guidelines document said the government wanted to highlight victories and achievements. It included a 9-point list of the kind of news that companies should supply. It asked, for example, for stories about business units where it's possible to say that state support helped lift them out of crisis, restored modern production, and re-equipped them with new equipment and gave work to local residents. Examples given of the kind of events of interest to the government from elsewhere in the corporate world included state lender SBE Bank hiring 700 people in the Volga River city of Tolyatti, a festival funded by a company in Kaliningrad region for young people with hearing difficulties, and a sports center being opened in Cherkassk, southern Russia. The document also held up the case of Yevgeny Kozmin as an example of a positive news story, a miner in western Siberia whose team extracted 1.6 million tons of coal in July this year, a monthly record. That carried echoes of Alexei Stakhanov, a miner who in 1935 extracted almost 15 times more coal during a shift than his quota required. Communist propaganda held Stakhanov up as a symbol of Soviet industrial prowess. Monday deadline. The instructions stipulated that companies should submit positive news stories every week, on the Monday, or Tuesday morning at the latest. They said the companies should present their items in the format of a table, with new additions highlighted in a colored font, and accompanied by a press release that could be passed on to journalists with minimal editing from government officials. The document also required each company to provide a contact person who could provide extra information to journalists, tell TV news crews how to reach the venue to report on an event, and organize access for news crews to the company's sites. Putin has not yet declared his intention to seek re-election. Most Kremlin observers say he will. Opinion polls show he will win comfortably, with many voters crediting him with restoring national pride. The Kremlin's biggest headache with the election, scheduled for next March, is ensuring a strong turnout, say many political analysts. With the economy weak and many people viewing the result as a foregone conclusion, voters may be tempted to stay away from polling stations. A low turnout could undermine Putin's legitimacy in his next term, the analysts say.